Hakeem Olufemi Gbajabiamila. God bless you all.
What this bill seeks to do is to extend the lifeline of the 2022 Appropriation Act.
House reconvenes, passes Supplementary Act Amendment Bill 2023.
If we fail to destroy narcotic drug abuse will destroy Nigeria.
And lawmakers call on federal government to declare state of emergency on illicit drugs. The program is House Tickets, and I am Dehelia Mamza, your regular anchor. The House reconvened in an emergency sitting on Sunday, 28 May 2023, in order to give accelerated hearing to the Supplementary Appropriation Act Amendment Bill 2023. The bill was considered for first, second, and third readings. Find out more on the bill and its imports in the course of the program. In a related development, far-reaching recommendations were once again adopted when the House debated motions alongside bills across the country. Stay tuned to House Ticket for the details coming your way after the short break. Don't go away.
The entire purpose of the legislative agenda is to direct our legislative resources and efforts in a coordinated effort to ensure the well-being of the individual in a life of safety and freedom. That is a high ambition, but it's well worth the effort. We have passed landmark legislation to fix our oil and gas industry, reform the police, and reorganize the corporate administration system in our country. We have considered and passed meaningful legislation that impacts all areas of our national life.
A bill for an act to amend the Supplementary Appropriation Act 2022 to extend the implementation year of the capital aspect from 30th June 2023 to 31st December 2023 and for related matters. This was the title of the bill that received accelerated hearing when the House reconvened briefly on Sunday, 28 May 2023. Details of how the proceedings went are contained in our first reports on the program. Keep watching.
We're going to go straight to the business of the day. Honourable members,
to begin with, the House took the first reading of the bill seeking to amend the Supplementary Appropriation Act 2022 to extend the implementation year of the capital aspect from 30th June to 31st December 2023.
Honourable members, Supplementary Appropriation Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading.
Having passed the first reading, the bill on the same day scaled second reading. An executive bill, it stood in the name of the House leader and it was presented by the Chief Whip, Muhammad Tahir Manguno.
What this bill seeks to do is to extend the lifeline of the 2022 Appropriation Act up to December.
Honourable,
the main thrust behind this amendment is to allow government to execute the laudable programs, the laudable capital object programs that is embedded in the budget to flow to the doorsteps of the people as dividends of democracy, because those projects have the effect of generating multiplier effects in the economy, has the effect of regenerating the economy, and has the effect of bridging the gap in our much needed infrastructure needs that would propel our economy to grow in leaps and bounds.
The bill was referred to the Committee of Supply for consideration.
those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it.
To expedite action, the House dissolved into the Committee of Supply to consider the bill. The session was presided over by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila.
Please, can you move that the House dissolve to the Committee of Supply?
implementation year of the capital aspect from 30th June 2023 to 31st December 2023 and for related matters be considered in the committee of the whole.
I invite the leader of the House to give a synopsis.
The leader of the House, Representative Alhassan Ado Dogwa, gave the synopsis of the extension.
We are reconvening to consider these important legislations because of its importance. We are sitting on a Sunday to ensure that things go smoothly and in accordance with our proceedings, Mr. Speaker. And in this light, I therefore move that honourable members should give and allow this a speedy passage.
The recommendation for the extension was voted on and approved. Following this, the House reverted to plenary and adopted the report of the Committee of Supply, following a motion moved by Representative Alhassan Ado Dogwa. The House on the same day considered and approved two reports in the Committee of the Whole. The session was chaired by the Deputy Speaker, Ahmad Idris Wasi. The first one was on a bill for an act to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007 and for related matters. The majority leader of the House, Representative Ado Dogwa, gave the synopsis of the report.
Mr. Chairman, it is a straightforward bill and it is intended at creating an enabling environment for the Apex Bank to actually perform in tandem with global best practices. They're hearing you. And Mr. Chairman, I think honourable members should give this bill a speedy passage because it's for the good of our economy and it's also for the good of the institution of the Central Bank to be able to perform in tandem with the global best practices. Mr. Chairman, honourable members, I so move and beg of members to give this bill a speedy passage.
A lawmaker opposed the bill as he had wanted to debate it fully during second reading.
Mr. Chairman, does it mean with this amendment, does it mean the CBN somehow advances to government at 15%? Or is it a wake-up call? At the twilight of the end of this government, we are changing this from 5% to 15%. Can the chairman, Banking and Currency, kindly extend this explanation to not only to National Assembly, but to Nigerians? Does it mean the CBN granted these advances at 15%? Or what is going on? This is what we don't know. Mr. Chairman, I'm a member of the Committee of Banking and Currency. I didn't know when these discussions took place, and I can stand on privilege. Order 6 to call for an explanation as a member of this committee how we reach at this amendment.
The explanation I may attempt to give, if I listen to it very carefully, is this. The chair has the right to commit, after second reading, any bill to committee of the whole. It is there contained in our standing orders. It depends on the importance and then the exigency of the moment. And in light of this, I want to beg our colleagues to please consider this amendment and pass it so that we have the right to done.
To summarize the voting, clauses 1 to 3 were voted on and approved.
The gavel has gone. Clause 3, thank you.
The other report considered and approved by the Committee of the Whole was on a bill for an act to repeal the Produce Enforcement of Export Standards Act P 32 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Federal Produce Inspection Service Enforcement of Export Standards Establishment Bill 2023 to provide for the inspection and enforcement of grades and quality standards of produce and commodities intended for export from Nigeria at ports of shipment and for related matters.
Another bill for consideration for an act to repeal the Produce Enforcement of Export Standards Act P 32 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Federal Produce Inspection Service Enforcement of Export Standards Establishment Bill 2023 to provide for the inspection and enforcement of grades and quality standards of produce and commodities intended for export from Nigeria and ports of shipment and for related matters. Sir.
Clauses 1 to 46 were voted on and approved.
Clause 45, clause 46, schedules.
The House reverted to plenary where the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, reported progress, after which the reports were adopted. The lawmakers further expedited action on the bills and passed them for third reading.
May I move that this Honorable House do suspend our relevant rules to take for third reading of this relevant legislation and for obvious matters, and to allow for the needful be done in respect of these bills. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Honorable colleagues, the third reading of the bills have been read and passed.
Meanwhile, the Speaker announced the defection of Representative Abdul Ganiyu Olododo Cook from the Social Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress.
Kindly be informed that as a result of wide consultations with different stakeholders in my constituency and the state, I have decided to return to my former political party, All Progressive Congress, and it is on this note that I wish to humbly notify you and the House of my return to the All Progressive Congress. Thanks for your anticipated cooperation and accept my warmest regards.
At the end of the sitting, Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila commended members of the House for their loyalty and national patriotism displayed to attend the emergency plenary, notwithstanding the inconvenience of the day being a rest day.
For leaving your duties and your family on Sunday. God be with you. Honorable Leader of the House, can you please adjourn the House till Tuesday?
That's it on the House consideration of the bill to amend the Supplementary Appropriation Act 2022. We will take a break now, but when we return, more reports from the chamber as lawmakers debated several matters of national importance. Please stay tuned for details coming up shortly. Keep watching.
Tuesday, 30th of May 2023, the House at plenary deliberated on a motion of urgent public importance moved by Representative Jimoh Olajide on the announced removal of the fuel subsidy regime by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Aware that there is no provision for fuel subsidy in the 2023 Appropriation Act. Further aware that the current 9th Assembly and the past administration had been giving it a legal backing. Convinced that further legislative actions in supporting Mr. President in delivering dividend of democracy will go a long way in enhancing development.
In his prayers, the lawmaker called on the presidency to ensure the path of the president's announcement succeeds for the socio-economic well-being of the people. He also called on Nigerians to remain patient with the new government, as he is sure it will perform well.
Those in support, please say aye.
The motion was voted on and adopted.
Ayes have it.
The House is aware that in the Appropriation Act of 2022,
Still on the same day, Representative Jonathan Gaza-Gwefi moved a motion on the urgent need to ensure the establishment of the National Assembly E-Library Trust Fund for the smooth running of the National Assembly E-Library.
the House is aware that in the Appropriation Act of 2022, the sum of 255 million naira only and the sum of 118 million was and is appropriated for the National Assembly E-Library and Dashboard respectively, and no sum is appropriated for the National Assembly Library Trust Fund. The House is further aware that the management of the E-Library and provision of electronic library facility hitherto falls within the exclusive mandate of the National Assembly Library Trust Fund and forms the basis for the establishment of the trust fund by this House. The House is concerned,
Leader, I haven't forgotten our discussion.
that any further delay
I'm working on it.
in the development of the sums appropriated for the National Assembly E-Library and that board respectively will impede the smooth takeoff of the trust fund and invariably affect the attainment of the objectives of the Act in the 2022-2023 financial year.
The motion had one prayer, which was to urge the management of the funds to place the appropriated funds under the trust fund.
Those in support, please say aye.
The motion was voted on and adopted.
Ayes have it.
There's an organic correlation between the level of narcotic.
On Thursday, the 1st of June 2023, Representative Francis Agbo also moved a motion on the consequences of illicit drugs and the need for the federal government to declare a state of emergency on it.
Concern of the growing trend of synthetic and designer drugs by Nigerians, coupled with the increase in the number of household items and other easily accessible narcotizing agents like amphetamine, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, plantina, glue, codeine lace, cough syrup, cement, and animal excreta, which are widely abused in Nigeria. Worried that the tragic phenomenon now affects all strata and demographic groups of our country, it is pertinent for government at all levels, the organized private sector, and the family unit work closely to combat these menace. For if we fail to destroy narcotic drug abuse will destroy Nigeria.
In his prayers, Representative Francis, amongst other things, called on the federal government to declare a state of emergency on the matter and to appropriate adequate funds to the NDLEA to carry out its statutory duties of battling the menace of illicit drug manufacture, cultivation, trade, and distribution. He also called for the establishment of well-manned rehabilitation centers and that the relevant committees of the House should ensure the prayers of the motion are carried out and report back to the House within 6 days.
Those in support, please say aye.
The motion was voted on and adopted. Several motions from the order paper were moved by some lawmakers in the week under review, one of which was on the recommittal of 3 bills that were passed by the National Assembly and transmitted to the former President Muhammadu Buhari for assent. The motion stood in the name of the Chairman, Rules and Business, Representative Abubakar Hassan Fulata, but was presented by Representative Jimo Olajide. The bills are Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons Establishment Bill 2023, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act Amendment Bill 2023, Chartered Institute of Digital Forensics of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2023.
Notes that some fundamental issues which require fresh legislative action emerge after critical analysis of the bill in the presidency.
The House resolved to rescind its decision on the bills as passed and recommit same to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration.
Those in favor of the motion say aye.
The motion was voted on and adopted. Moving on to bills, the House last week took the second reading of a Senate bill titled A Bill for an Act to Establish Parliamentary College and for Related Matters.
To establish Parliamentary College and for related matters, HB 2228. A Senate bill be read for the second time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Degree and master degree.
The bill generated debate.
The duty of the Parliamentary College is akin to the duties that is being executed by National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies. So what is the need for establishment of a parliamentary college? It's purely a duplication of duty, especially against the backdrop of the fact that we want to conserve our scarce resources and then deploy it to other sectors that is much more needed, rather than duplicating or creating an institution that whose function that is sought to be made is already being performed by another institution.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, NIS was established to give proper education on the institution called legislature. Every aspect of the legislatures are being studied by NIS. And with a degree and master degree. Now, establishing college is bringing the institution less than the vision of the former presiding officers of this great chamber, who saw the vision to train and retrain staffs of the legislature, who saw the vision of enhancing their degree programs, we saw the vision of enhancing issues of master's degree and PhD today. NIS is running a PhD on legislative drafting and legislative study. Now, bringing this law will be in conflict completely with that institution.
My take is that we should first have the compendium to look at what is the ingredient as contained in the person proposing the bill, not to jump to conclusion. Yes, we have legislative studies and we should guide it jealously. I'm of that opinion and I stand for it. I have worked for it, and I will continue to defend that corporate entity of that institution. And I'm against multiple or duplication of institutions so that we can have reduction in cost of running government. But then it will be fair only if we know, because this is second reading. And the second reading is introduced to us with that compendium.
In the light of the argument of Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we need to allow this bill to at least pass the second reading, where we will make sure that compendium and details of the bills is made available, even if it's at the level of consideration of report. When we come, we now look at the intent of the bill and find out, not just to merely assume. When you simply assume in legislation,
I agree with you. Honorable colleagues,
we are not doing the right thing.
Those in support, please say aye.
The bill was voted on, passed, and referred to the Committee of the Whole. Another bill that killed second reading was titled A Bill for an Act to Upgrade the College of Health Technology JAHUN and Provide for Establishment of Federal University of Health Technology and Medical Sciences JAHUN, Jigawa State, and for related matters. It was sponsored by Representative Saidu Yusuf Miga.
I rise to move for a bill for an act to upgrade the College of Health Technology JAHUN and provide for the establishment of Federal University of Health Technology and Medical Sciences in JAHUN, Jigawa State, and for related matters. I so move.
Those in support, please say aye.
The bill was voted on, passed, and referred to the Committee of the Whole.
The bill is referred to the Committee of the Whole.
About 15 bills were passed at third reading during the week under review, some of which are a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Agricultural Technology, Opialo Ojapo, Benue State, and for related matters. A bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act, Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 as amended, to make provision for establishment of Federal College of Forestry Management and Tourism, Idare, Ondo State, and for related matters. A bill for an act to establish Federal College of Health Technology, Beni Sheikh, Kaga Local Government Area of Borno State, and for related matters. And a bill for an act to repeal the National Examinations Council NECO Act, Cap N37, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the National Examinations Council Bill to provide for making NECO, National Common Entrance Examination NCEE, the Basic Education Certificate Examination BSCE, and the Senior Secondary Certificate Examination Internal SSCE1 compulsory for every Nigerian child and provide for the removal of clause without prejudice to the existing powers and function of the West African Examinations Council WAEC from the Act and to design scope of the power and functions of the governing board of the Council and for related matters. 7 bills were presented for first reading and all of which were from the Senate. They include Federal University of Agriculture and Environmental Science, Abongo, Imo State Bill 2023, Federal University of Science and Technology, Sabon-Birni, Sokoto State Bill 2023, Federal University of Creative Arts and Studies, Olu, Imo State Bill 2023, Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act Amendment Bill 2023, Public Procurement Act Amendment Bill 2023.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria.
Meanwhile, Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila has congratulated Nigerians on the successful transition from one democratically elected government to another. He wished a new and progressive dawn for all Nigerians. This was on Tuesday, 30th of May, 2023.
We wish this new administration good luck, all the best. We are all very hopeful. We believe that it's a new dawn in Nigeria. Congratulations to each and every one of us.
And so we end the program for this week. House Ticket will continue to bring you reports of our lawmakers as they uphold the tenets of democracy and make laws for the good governance of the nation. Until I come your way again, let's make Nigeria proud. Bye-bye.